to graduation. Couple quick notes for current participants. You're all, thank you for those of you that are current participants for joining us today. Your attendance here is worth 2 sober support credits or 2 healthy social activities. Also, just kind of general housekeeping and format is we should be here around an hour and a half, give or take, maybe. During that time, if at any point you lose your connection, please just use the link, get back in. One of us that are hosting or co-hosting will let you back in through the waiting room. We ask that folks refrain from vaping or smoking, any excessive video movement. If you get busy on screen or any of those things occur, we will help you turn off your camera. We can also help mute folks if there's any, or unmute folks if there's any difficulty with that. So we're going to give a brief overview about some media attendance here in a moment, and then we'll have an introduction from our Seattle Drug Court judge, and then we'll go into this month's graduate, as well as some special guest speakers we have that are drug court alumni. And so with that, I want to let folks know we understand that we do have some local media in attendance today. In order to respect the privacy of attendees, we have asked media not to take their own screenshots or recordings. However, we want to let you know that we are recording the event within speaker view and will be providing the recording afterwards to media who do request it. Since we are recording in speaker view, our intention is that only speakers will be pictured in the recording for media, and other attendees who do not want to appear in the images will not. However, we cannot 100% guarantee that attendees will not appear in some image. So if this is a concern for you, it would be best to log out now. At the end of this event, we will be asking speakers and any attendees who are willing to be pictured on media to stay for a group photo. Also, at the end of, any of today's graduate and alumni speakers who are interested in being interviewed by media afterwards should stay on this call. And so with that, I'd like to turn it over to Seattle Judge Roberts.
Thank you, Joe. Welcome to everybody here. What a great group. This is one of the happiest days we have in drug court. My name is Judge Mary Roberts. I'm the Seattle Drug Court Judge, and together with Judge Julia Garrett, who is the Kent Drug Court Judge, I want to let you know how much we appreciate being here. It was really our honor and privilege to participate in this graduation ceremony today. It's wonderful to see so many folks here to celebrate and participate in the ceremony. We have friends, drug court staff, retired judges, treatment providers, folks from the prosecutor's office. I see defense attorneys, housing providers, current and past drug court participants. And I know that members of the media are here, and I want to welcome you all. We're all here to congratulate and encourage Benjamin McGlashan, and thank you all for being here. Today, we're celebrating Ben's choice to change the path that he has been on. And this choice, I want to emphasize over and over that it was a choice, took courage and is leading to his success today. And we all know that it was not easy. We could not be more proud of the hard work and the commitment that has been shown and that is always necessary. It's just really, truly inspiring to me, and I know to everybody else who's here today. And I have learned that the most fun thing since I started this job just a couple of months ago is that I get to sign those orders dismissing cases on the day of graduation, which is really a wonderful feeling. So I'm now going to turn it back over to Joe so that we can get on with the rest of the program.
Thank you, Your Honor. So at this time, we have graduate Benjamin M. introduced first by previous Seattle Drug Court Judge, Judge Dean Lum.
Hello, well, good morning. Well, this is a fantastic day, and thank you for inviting me back. You know, so a few months ago, you know, when I was still the active Seattle Drug Court Judge, well, sometime late last year, you know, Benjamin was getting up into the phases. You know, he had been in phase 5. And so, of course, you know, he was expressing and doing a great job. And so we always ask, you know, when we're getting close to graduation, well, who's going to graduate? Who's going to introduce you at your graduation? This is going to be a celebration, you know, fantastic day. It doesn't have to be elaborate or anything else like that, but who would you like to introduce you? And some people, select their spouse or select, their case manager or treatment manager, or it could be their attorney, or, lots of other very people who were instrumental in their success and who they felt close to. And of course, Benjamin said, well, of course, you are judge, you're going to introduce me. And I said, well, okay, and I consider that one of the highest honors that someone could bestow upon me. Someone who has displayed tremendous resiliency and courage throughout this entire process, just like so many of you on this screen. So many of you, whether it be alumni or current drug participants, drug court participants, you know how hard this is. You know that there's all kinds of people talking all kinds of stuff out there, talking about how easy it is, or talking about how it's a setup, or talking about all kinds of stuff. Of course, some of them are talking stuff where they're, behind bars. And, as somebody told me one time, he said, well, I got to be a little careful about people giving you advice when they're in certain situations, because otherwise, what are you doing there, man? But anyway, I digress. When I was looking over Benjamin's DSRs, daily status reports, going back, I think, his situation was kind of a microcosm of everything that folks in drug court go through. We got PCN, we got TRP, PCN, and those are various, for those of you who are not as familiar with the program, those are either in custody treatment programs that we used to have, or basically inpatient treatment programs that we still have. So we have that. We had bench warrants. We had, we had dilutes. We had weekend remand to jail. We had, we had restarting of phase. So we had that part. But we also had tremendous courage, tremendous resiliency, a willingness to change, a willingness to accept help, peer support, and tremendous reaching out, and some real soul searching by somebody who just wouldn't give up. He just didn't give up. He's been here a long time, and I hesitate to say how long he's been in each of the phases, particularly phase 4. But he stuck through it. And that's what he did, and that's what so many of you who are watching on this call have done. You decided to make a change, and you did it. And we're so proud of you. People here who have worked with you, we're so proud of what you've accomplished. And in terms of changing your life, repairing your relationships, you're able to have very healthy discussions. And that if you have challenges in the future, and all of us are human, we know that sometimes life throws us curveballs. We can't guarantee that smooth sailing in the future, but we know that you'll be able to handle it. We know that you'll be able to reach out. We know that you'll be able to talk to us or anybody else in the drug court family to help you succeed. We know that. We know that you're not going back to that place, and that if life throws you some curveballs, you'll be able to reach out, accept help, and move forward in a positive way. We know that. So it just is incredibly gratifying to me to know that you reached this day of graduation. So congratulations, Benjamin. And I'll turn the floor back over to Joe.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this point, I think we have another introduction for Benjamin by his drug court case manager, Amy Lee.
Hey, Ben, congratulations. I just had to chime in a little something here. As your case manager, it's been an honor and a pleasure just to be on this journey with you. You've been with us about 2.5 years, and it hasn't always been an easy journey, as you know, especially through COVID, through the pandemic. Virtual groups wasn't really your thing. It was challenging, and things were hard through that time. But the thing that I really was inspired by you is that you never gave up on yourself. Like, even when things were tough or really hard or really scary, you always showed up, and just took it one day at a time and one foot in front of the other. And you've really grown so much through this program. And you were intentional about working on yourself. Like, even when we would be having a conversation and things would get hard or things would be tough, you'd take a minute, you'd kind of slow yourself down, you'd say, okay, let me try this again. So it wasn't always a comfortable process for you, but it was really incredible to watch and to see how far you've come. And a couple of things I saw in some of the writing that you said is that you've become a more calm person, that you've learned how to cope with life without drugs, and that there's so much more to life now that you've learned. And one highlight for me working with you is that every Monday you would send me photos of your healthy social activities, just positive things in the community that you would do to stay sober. And so I got a little glimpse into your world. It was usually you playing basketball, or you in nature, visiting parks, hanging out with pets or kiddos in your life. And it was really beautiful, and you're actually a really talented photographer, but just seeing the community and the world that you've created, and the support system that you lean on was really cool to see that. And you mentioned also that you want to lead by example. And I know that your story of recovery is an inspiration to not just yourself, but also friends and family. And so people look to you as an example. And so that's been really cool to watch as well. And if I had to sum you up in a few words, I would say resilience. You have a hilarious sense of humor. You're really humble. You're a very unassuming guy. And I sometimes wish you would see yourself the way we would see you, and all the gifts that you have. You're a hard worker and you have a lot of courage. And so I just want to say congratulations, and hopefully you'll keep in touch. We're definitely going to miss you. So great job.
Benjamin, if you'd like to share a few words. Oh, there you go.
Thank you. I've been on mute. I didn't really. Is it my turn to say something like or whatnot? I didn't really write a speech. I kind of slacked on that one, but I think I could just say what I don't know. It's on my mind. For one, yeah, thank you, Mr. Lum. I appreciate you introducing me, and Amy as well. But I felt like, Mr. Lum was the perfect introductee, because, he was the man with the gavel. He was the man. I'd have to face every time I'd mess up. He was the man I had to face when I did good, and I don't know. I appreciate him introducing me, and Amy as well. She was technically the first person I would have to, come clean to, or whatnot, and just check in and conversate and all that. But overall, yeah, it's definitely been a very life-changing choice, and a decision of mine. Throughout the years before this, I was going nowhere. I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. Tired of trying to support my habit and stealing and doing criminal activity. When you're on drugs and stuff, you just you're on pretty much it's a light way of saying it, but cruise control, I guess. But there's really no cruising involved. But you know, you're not yourself. You're not the same person. You know, I just wasn't me. You know, throughout the years, I slowly but surely, you know, I had nobody, and you know, my family, everybody, you know, just started being empty and all that, you know. But I'm you know, I decided, you know, um I'm tired of that, you know. And at first I didn't know exactly what I was getting myself into with drug court, you know. But eventually I definitely um slowly but surely, you know, started, you know, getting the scoop or whatnot. And just, you know, changing, decided to change my life, you know, because there was parts where, you know, I would just, you know, feel like running away, you know, tucking my tail and running away, and, you know, technically taking the easy way out, I guess, you know, and running back to having no responsibilities, living on the sidewalk, you know. I guess that's that's the easy way. It was the easy way. But anywho, yeah, I just appreciate all you guys, all the resources, and all the help you guys provided me with my life. This is definitely life changing. You know, this is the first time I decided to actually choose to quit. You know, and of course I've been in drug court for about 2.5 years, which is pretty long. Um, but I looked at it as you know, another way to benefit myself, because I mean, the only way, you know, the only thing you do in this program is win. You know, the only person who's winning is you. You know, in the end, I mean, yeah, you know, you're in drug court a little longer, but I was the type of person who needed the little extra kick in the behind. You know, the little extra shove. And yeah, so that's pretty much all I got. I just thank you guys. Like I said, I thank you guys, everything you guys helped me with and whatnot, all the resources and just the help, you know. They're all in all aspects of you know, this program. Everything is extremely helpful, you know, through the tough and the fun, through the fun part and the tough part. Everything's useful, you know. I just want to thank you guys. I'm not too much of a speech type of person. I don't know, but thank you guys.
Benjamin, excellent work. Congratulations. Very happy to see you here today. I know it's been a long road. Hey, at this point, I know we're going to move into hearing from some alumni speakers, and we're going to start off with 2017 graduate Mike, known to many of us as Iron Mike. There you go, Mike. I think you're good to go.
Am I in the corner? Okay. Hi, I'm Iron Mike. I'm a recovering drug addict. Graduation from drug court and a 3-time ex-con. I can honestly say what drug court did for me was probably saved my life and saved me from going back to prison. I was looking like, I think it was 140 months. Heck, I'd still be there, but very grateful. They can you see me? Okay. They made me accountable, responsible. At times it wasn't easy. I had to travel by bus via West Seattle, get up hours early just to get up to TRP. I knew that I wanted to change from what I was used to. I wanted my life back. I wanted my family back. I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know, and today life is good. I see my daughter, I see my grandkids, I have a place to live. I'm driving a car, active musician. I'm actually going to a clean and free event this weekend out at Ocean Shores, which I've been going to for the last 6 years. I'll have 7 years clean on July 28th of this year. Life is good today. I can say that for sure. And I'm not much of a speaker either. I can leave you with this though, and I remind myself every day that you can't become who you want to be in life by remaining what you used to be in life. And I remind myself that every day of where I am today, and life is good. For those in the program, I suggest that you go to your meetings. I still go to meetings. Stay in the middle, make it simple. Stay away from the 3 Ps: playgrounds, playmates, and playthings. And white knuckle it. And change is good. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for coming down here today. It's great to see you.
Absolutely.
Okay, next up, we have 2022 graduate King.
Dan, what's up, brother? Congratulations, man.
Thank you. How you doing, King?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm just a little busy with work right now. I didn't think I was gonna be this busy, but they change things on me all the time. So things are going good. Thanks to drug court, man. Well, Lizzie knows me probably the best. Lizzie and Tom, like from the last time I was in to this time, and just the changes that I've made, and to get me where I'm at, it's like the last gentleman says, to be, things get old, just like we do, and thanks to the help of drug court, I'm getting my life back, and I'm getting myself back, like who I was before my addiction, and it's a great feeling. I've got my son back. I'm in great standing, with the rest of my family and everything. And man, like it's, as some of y'all know, like this time around in drug court, it was something of a struggle, but I didn't give up. And just like you guys didn't give up on me, you guys helped a lot. And now I got this great job with the Seattle Conservation Corps, and just things are looking up. Like, I don't know what more I can really say, because, well, just all around life is better now, Hey, Ben, I put my number in the chat. Write it down, man. Ben, I'm proud of you, bro. Especially as long as I've known you and your family, man, and knowing your background. Congratulations, man. Just keep up the good work, bro. And utilize your support, okay? Utilize, especially me, man. I'm there, bro. You got my number?
I know. I'll screenshot it.
All right, man. Yeah. Stay in touch, man. You need help with anything, man. I got you. Hey, give the number to your brother, man. Tell him to call me.
Yep.
So just keep it up, man. Like everything you have behind you, leave it there, bro. Just keep pushing forward, man.
Sure.
One step, one day at a time. It sounds like a cliche, but it's facts. Because I myself, I literally gotta remind myself every day, sometimes twice a day, that I don't got this. I need help. And I remind myself, I've got help. I've got a support network. You know what I'm saying? And I try to stay in contact with them. Some of my friends I met at my NA meetings at Cherry Hall. If they don't see me for a couple of days, they call me to make sure I'm okay. And that's really awesome. I don't think I've ever had anything like that. People just calling to check on me. Like that's really something else, man. So like I said, you got a support network, man. You got a team, you got a family, man, that care about you, bro. Use it, and then just keep up the good work, brother.
For sure. Thank you. Thanks, King.
Yep, you got it, man. That's all I got.
Thanks so much, King. Great to see the support going on here today. Great to see you too. Looking good. Okay, next up we have 2020 graduate Marjorie.
Thank you. Congratulations, Ben. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
It's awesome. So in late 2011, I was diagnosed with 2 chronic stress fractures in my lower back, and I had been an athlete for 15 years. And that diagnosis promptly ended my gymnastics career. And now I had all this time on my hands and I didn't know what to do with it, and I turned to drugs. The next 8 years were filled with unhealthy choices, incarceration, criminal activity, and lots of treatment facilities. On May 6, 2019, I got arrested for, God willing, the last time. And I was given the opportunity to participate in drug court. I came to drug court broken, homeless, and completely alienated from my family. I had no purpose. I didn't know what I was doing. And on that day that I got arrested, the staff at the jail told me that I was pregnant. My son saved my life, and drug court gave me my life back. I get very emotional talking about it because I had nothing. When I got arrested on that day, I had nothing. I was covered in track marks. My hands were so swollen. And I was a shell of a person. I really did not know where I was heading, and I did not care if I lived. You know, my life was a constant cycle of waking up, doing what I needed to do to get drugs, and it just every day for 8 years, and it was exhausting. It was absolutely exhausting. And I was in jail for a month, and then I went to treatment for a month, and Lizzie was my case manager, and she saw me as a person. You know, she connected with me in a way that nobody had in years. And then I came to court and I met Judge Lum, and he saw me as a person and he talked to me as a human being. And it was my first experience with the criminal justice system where I didn't feel like everybody was trying to put me back in jail and just throw away the key and be like, okay, you know, we're done with you. The drug court staff wanted to know how they could help me. And that made the biggest difference in my journey in recovery this time around. I had never been able to stay off drugs prior to, but I was met with a program that gave me every opportunity to succeed as long as I took that opportunity. Sorry. Today, I have a relationship with my family. I have a beautiful 2-year-old boy who gets to grow up never having to see his mom loaded. You know, I talk with my brother, who didn't speak to me for a year and a half because of my doing, right? The fact that I was alienated with my family, that was all my doing. Because every time I came around, because of the drugs, because of the lifestyle that comes with that, there was always some drama. There was always something, and they got tired of it. And something happened with my brother to where he said, I am done. You are no longer my sister. And I wasn't born here, right? But my parents and my brother and I moved here in 2003. And so my parents and my brother, they are the only family that I have here. And so for my brother to wipe his hands clean of me and be like, I don't know you anymore, that hurt. But when it happened, I didn't register with me yet. I didn't hear it yet. And it was only until I started this cycle of turning things around and working and rebuilding the trust. And it wasn't until my brother reached out to me and I realized how long it had been until we had spoken, and how much I had missed that connection with my family. When I went to jail, so I called my mom from jail and I said, hey mom, like I'm in jail again, and oh, by the way, I'm pregnant. And she told me, she's like, you cannot have that baby. You know, you cannot have that baby. And that sounds harsh, right? But you guys have to realize that it came from a place of fear, that I had instilled that fear, because all the other things in my past had shown that I was just going to get out of jail and do the same things I had been doing over and over again. And she didn't want to end up having to take care of a baby, you know, her and my parents. So it took a long time. It took a long time for me to rebuild that trust. With the support that I got from drug court, with the structure, I needed structure. And I didn't know that I needed structure. I didn't know how I was going to get out of the cycle and the chaos that I had been living. Communication. I think Lizzie, I called you or, you know, reached out to you anytime anything came up. Lizzie was my case manager and I said, okay, this happened. I need to talk to someone. I need to let them know, because they can't help me if they don't know what's going on, right? And then I later found out that, so Lizzie was like my point of contact. And from then she would let the prosecutor, who I believe was Tally actually at the time, she let the prosecutor know, she let the judge know, right? It's a whole team effort. It was a wonderful experience. It wasn't easy, but oh my gosh, right? When I look back, I'm like, why didn't I do this sooner? I was in drug court for about 15 months. There was something that came out. I was supposed to graduate a little bit before that, but then something came up in the last few months, or in the last month, and then they're like, oh, well, we're going to extend you 6 months. And then and I was mad. I was mad because I didn't understand, because I thought, well, I've been doing everything, you know, well, and I've been trying. And it's funny because it didn't show up until later. I didn't realize it until later that extra 3 months or 6 months, with the ability to petition 3 months early for graduation, but I didn't realize that I needed that extra 3 months. I couldn't see that until I was way done with it. You know, so sometimes I have a really close relationship with my higher power, and it's hard for me to see things, or it's hard for me to realize why things are happening until later. But I trust the process. I mean, drug court has been working for many, 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 many years, and people are graduating. And Ben, you are proof of that. And all the prior graduates and all the future graduates, you guys are all proof of that. Drug court works, and it's a team effort, but communication is key. They don't know how to help you unless you communicate what your needs are. And granted, I didn't even know how to communicate. I didn't know how to say, I need this, or I feel this, right? But slowly but surely, I learned how to do that. I learned how to communicate. And I think one of the things that was most essential in my recovery, when I got out of treatment, I cut off everybody, old using buddies, right? Anybody from that lifestyle. I changed my phone number. I went on social media. I deleted, blocked everybody. And that was essential. I had to do that if I were going to succeed. And it was lonely. But the friends I made some amazing friendships in the 12-step program. I made some amazing friendship with my peers. In my job that I have today, in my professional life, I have met some amazing people. And so it was a long road. But today I know that I'm surrounded by people that care about me. And like King mentioned, right, if I don't show up for a couple of days, people are going to reach out because they're real friends. They are people that truly care about me and that I truly care about. And we're all learning how to do it together, right? I think I don't want to take up too much time, but communicate, reach out, and find your circle, man. Find your people and stick with them. You know, like I said, I have this big, beautiful life today. I have a driver's license. I didn't have a driver's license when I came to drug court. You know, I can walk down the street. I can drive down the street without having to check over my shoulder because cops, you know, because I have a warrant out for my arrest. I have my son. I get to be a sober, self-sufficient mother to him today. And I have all these amazing connections with people that are learning, helping me grow. So with that, congratulations, Ben. Stick it out. If you're in the program, stick it out. I promise you, it is well worth it. I promise you. And I will put my contact information in the chat. If you want to reach out, please, please don't hesitate. Thank you, guys.
Marjorie, thank you for your vulnerability and authenticity. It's great to hear some of your story here today, sharing it with everybody. Thank you. Okay, next up, we have 2018 graduate Michael.
Hi, I'm Michael, a 2018 drug court graduate and a recovering alcoholic addict, and recovery from oppressive systems, and with some of the judiciary and persons in different branches of judicial reform that are even on the screen. It was possible for a person like me to come into drug court after 3 prior felonies. I will make no illusion about the fact that I'm a 3-time former felon, and all of my cases were drug related. I wasn't eligible to come into drug court on the prior 3 felonies. That just was the nature of the system then. And through some of the hard work, I'll put that out there. There's been some hard work by people to make sure that a person like me ended up having a choice to accept a chance to come in and change my life. I've been a cocaine addict and an alcoholic in late stage use and suffering from about 1993. I came into drug court in 2016. I was facing 120 months at first until they recalculated the time. And yeah, and I had accepted that fate because that was just, they came to me in the jail and said, would you be interested in trying out drug court? And I said, I think you have the right person. The environment that I was in out there on the street prior to ever coming into drug court and in between stints in prison for drugs, I remember right around the time that I had a buddy that had a cocaine delivery charge, and I saw him, he said drug court, and I was like, man, it was a rumor. Drug court was a rumor for persons like myself. And when he described what was required of drug court and what they required and what they get with the services that they gave you and the support that they give you, I was like, wow, well, that would be really cool. That would be really, really cool. And when the time came, and they came and asked me if I'd be willing to give drug court a try, I had no illusion. I had no misgivings about being able to complete the program. In comparison to the stringency of Department of Corrections of what they required on community placement, in a comparison, it's not even the same ballpark. I had never had a doubt at all that I would be able to complete drug court. And so one of the things that drug court did, I was assigned to Yuka Hayashi. She was my drug court case manager, and she talked to me at our first meeting. She answered my kite in jail, which strange. I don't even get a return kite from an attorney, and I'm looking at going to prison for 10 years and I can't even get a return kite. And Yuka immediately answered me within like 2 days, answered the kite. And the way she talked to me upon our first meeting when I came and was released from the TRP program, she talked to me as a matter of fact that I would be graduating, that I was going to complete this, I was going to be successful, I was going to remain in recovery, and you have all the support that you need to. And basically, the onus was on me because I had been able to maneuver through so many other systems. I had just never been able to sit down in a program like drug court and be able to just sit still, just be, without having to worry about having a job with a certain amount of hours, living at a place and being able to provide for myself, paying for my own transportation, maneuvering through IOP at the same time, maneuvering through support groups, and doing all of that in reporting once a week at their behest. And so being able to just sit still for the first year in drug court with all the support from Shannon Thomas, Joe came along and was helpful, and just reminded me, I was just reminded, not so much that Michael was in dire need, but there are some people that have come through this program, and I'm one of them, that I was able to do structure really well. I just needed there to be an endpoint, that the recovery was going to be realistic, and it wasn't going to be conditioned. There wasn't going to be conditions, and it wasn't going to be conditional about the recovery. It wasn't that or else factor that I was so used to. It was, don't worry about failing, just worry about getting better, just worry about healing. And there is a triage environment of spiritual first aid that the staff and the judges provide. Judge Carey was great, that the emotional triage and the emotional first aid and CPR given to the spirit of a person that is dying chronically. I have the ability to bounce back, but when I bounce back, it seems like I have an orange jumpsuit on. That was my experience. I was at my safest when I was on my way to Grays Harbor County. That's where I was safe, on gray buses and in jumpsuits. That's where my family knew I was okay. That's where society knew I was okay. And society is telling me this narrative, and it wasn't until persons like all the judges on this screen are integral part of the Diversion Court. Tally Smith and her team, as far as the prosecutor's office, and a complete overhaul of attitudes about persons like myself that are sick. And so it's not just me, I just happened to come along at the right time. Other people have benefited, not from persons like me in my experience. I'm not unique, and I learned that. What is unique is the work that the people that supported me have done, and completely changed the narrative, changed the stigma, changed the approach, gave persons like myself a chance to heal. Because as it stands right now, it is March 2022, I would be just about a year short of being eligible for work release, provided persons on this screen, the staff, and particularly the judiciary, didn't go to bat and speak in Olympia and do all these types of things and make it so that persons like myself with my particular charge, and that's a whole nother Oprah for another day, were able to come in and get some healing. And I just, if there's anything I can tell persons that haven't graduated yet on the screen, the easy part is putting away the drugs and the alcohol. The hard work comes in allowing yourself. The hard part is sitting still and letting the program work on you. Is sitting still and letting the program work on you. Trying to make gourmet meals with hot pocket cooking knowledge, as it were, as an analogy to your recovery, does not work. Allow other people with the expertise to guide you along until you're able to stand on your own. With that, I will say, with that, I will say, thank you so much, in particular, Judge Carey, Judge Lum, Tally Smith, and I can't say enough, and I'll say this and be real and be quiet. To be able to stand as a prosecutor's office and take the heat from the public and stand in the heat until they soften in the approaches when it comes to drug court and what kinds of persons they let in. Because by all rights in the old guard, I shouldn't be sitting in front of you right now. And it was a lot of hard work and a lot of naysayers telling people in the prosecutor's office and telling the judges that you guys are wrong. You guys, we do minimum mandatory sentencing around here. You don't have the right, in the interest of public safety, to let persons like that heal. They should really be somewhere. And so thank you. Thank you for all that you do. You new people, stay put. Communicate, as Marjorie said, communicate. And when you're done communicating, communicate a little bit more. Thank you so much for letting me be part of your program. And if you ever have any questions and you're new and in the program, feel free to call Pierre Kent, myself, Margaret, Charles. Stay in touch with Joe, Iron Mike, and persons like that. They're important. Judges answer emails too. Prosecutors at office answers emails too. Do not be afraid, man. This is not an oppressive system any longer. So get involved, get in and stay in. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Both you and Marjorie, great to see you here, having made the pass from participants to peers doing this work. It's excellent. It's like I have a couple minutes to share a couple things as well. My name's Joe. I'm a person in long-term recovery from a substance use disorder. I also have the pleasure of spending the last 5 years around this program as a resource specialist and peer counselor. Recovery means to me is since May of 2015, I haven't found it necessary to throw away everything worthwhile in my life that I've been able to build up to drugs and alcohol. I found that it's true. There's nothing that drugs and alcohol can't make worse for me. I've tried it every which way to manage and control things and get some results that I wanted, and I've lost every time. So a lot on my mind today, looking back, is rounding the corner on 7 years in recovery in about 2 months, and thinking back to spring of 2015 when I found my way into this program. I'm somebody that came from a household that was very much impacted by early onset of the prescription opioid crisis. Grew up in a household with a mother who was overprescribed a lot of medication, and what that did was gave me this understanding that I could change the way I felt inside by doing outward actions. I could, there was external solutions to my internal dilemmas and problems, and that created a lot of issues for me for a long time. So much to the point that by the time I was 17 or 18, it's fully dependent on cocaine and alcohol. Could hardly get into the military, and within 3 years of becoming a post 9/11 military veteran, I lost that career, thinking I would never again be able to work for the government. And for about another 10 years, doors continued to close on me. And the only ones that were opening by the time I was 32 were, to these cells and stuff at the county jail. As a white male and growing up in a rural town in Western Massachusetts, I experienced a lot of privilege and support that didn't have me running head on into the criminal legal system due to a lot of the drug use and criminal behavior I was involved in. So by the time at 32 years old that I ended up here, I kind of figured it was a done deal. Like, if I'm starting a record at this point in my life, this is it. I hadn't seen my daughter in months. I had a no contact order with my spouse. My father was terminally ill down in Southern California. And the only thing I could think about was calling my mother, not to ask about my dad, but for money for drugs, because I was sick out here on these streets on 3rd Avenue. I did not come to this program willingly. I did the catch me if you can, tried a couple warrants, and told Prosecutor Dennis O'Leary at that point, said that, I was basically looking at the 3 years down in Shelton. I could try that if I wasn't willing to try to go in custody and give this program a shot. And I too experienced support and encouragement from people that really had no idea about me, except for some information on paper about my charges, and that was the staff. And Judge Carey here, most of the staff that's on this call right now. I know my case manager from that time is not here, but you know, I saw this program working for somebody else that was in custody, somebody else that I used to use within the streets that was a little bit further along in this process. And it dawned on me that if it could work for him, and I know the way that he used and the way that he ran around the streets, I mean, there's a chance that maybe this thing could change my life too. I've been fortunate to spend some time with my brother Iron Mike on here, you know, had to do some time in custody together, got to start to build camaraderie and fellowship with other people who are pretty serious and committed about changing their life. People that spent more time in the game than me and told me too that, man, it doesn't get any better out there. It doesn't get any easier. You know, so when I was released to the community, I still didn't have any place to go. I was in a shelter down in the International District. I was told though that I could come a couple blocks north, come over here to this office anytime I needed help. And I did that. There were still a lot of places I was not welcome. Those no contact orders stood in place until I put together some accountability in this program. And I had a defense attorney and staff like Tom Essex going to bat so that I could go downstairs to the 7th floor for my assault case and have somebody say, hey, he's actually doing this thing up here, you know, give him a shot. The no contact order got lifted. I started to reintegrate into my community, into my family. This program kicked open doors to a life of everything I've ever wanted that I never thought possible. This program represents a continuum of care and accountability and support and encouragement that doesn't exist in a lot of other continuums and programs across the community. There's very fragmented aspects of support and expectations for folks like myself that don't know how to do this thing, because the company I keep is a lot of other people trying to live life the way that I have. And being in this container, in this program, allowed me to be around people that were a little bit further along that I could clearly see that I was working for. I also was just close enough to people who were coming in behind me. I could see how difficult it still was out there. It was kind of, you hear about being in this, staying in that middle lane, and that's what participating in this program made it feel like. Needless to say, I ended up cruising through this program very quickly. I went after participating in this and getting my life together the way I went after drugs and alcohol. And I was like a madman. You know, I was like, I want this recovery thing. I want a life like I heard beyond my wildest dreams. And I started to piece that together. And I was told to stay close to what works. And after I graduated in 2016, you know, I had encouragement from Tom and other staff here to come down and check in with Tom for this alumni meeting. And the encouragement and support continued even after I left this program. I just had to, you know, be able to stay in contact, show my face around. And this position opened up to be a resource specialist, and I took a run at it. You know, my whole thinking was I was running a business. I had everything I ever wanted, but then I also saw too many other people still left behind in the streets, too many people that I knew were coming into this program. And I'm like, man, I have some efficacy and some ability to advocate and support and offer and inspire hope. And maybe I'm interested in doing some of this work with other people that I know struggling and suffering the way that I did. And I took a run at that position and been fortunate to have joined this team. 2 years ago, the one big ambition that I had of wanting to work for the government actually came back to life again. I was able to be hired on by King County, one of my wildest dreams, kind of a big throwback in the face of that commanding officer that kicked me out of the Navy back 16 years ago. You know, it was kind of unbelievable. And with that, you know, kind of the bittersweet news that some of you know is I'm leaving drug court after 5 years as a staff member and a year and a half as a participant to take on a co-director position of peer navigation workforce with King County Regional Homelessness Authority. Next phase of my professional development, but none of this, any of it, my ability to be a parent, my ability to be married to a partner who does this type of work in the community as well with, you know, passion and enthusiasm, none of it would have been possible without this intervention. And it's not just the intervention, it's the support and the care and everything else that every other graduate has described today. It's all true, all of it. This is more than just a court program. It says there's more than meets the eye, and you have to get close. You got to get really up close to see what happens around here, the magic, the support, the struggles, as well as the victories. There's a lot of sorrow and there's a lot of joy. I'm going to miss this program very dearly. Fortunate that I'm not going too far away, just a couple doors down. I intend on coming back for some graduations. What I do want to encourage those, for those of you that are here in this, that are current participants in this program now, is, all of these things that the other graduates and alumni are talking about, all of these hopes and dreams and aspirations and doing this work, whether or not you want to do this work, anything is possible. Turn anything back over, to the lifestyle of drugs and alcohol. That's still true for me today. As Marjorie said too, is I have a child that, hopefully she won't have to see me loaded again. I'm not proud of the things. My daughter had been down on 3rd Avenue with me. That's the truth of my addiction and the places that it took me. But I also very vocal about what recovery is like too, because if all of our dirty laundry can be out there on the street, for those of you that are here in this program now, put your recovery out there too. Let people see that, because that's what's most important. That's what drops the stigma. That's what chips away at it. That's what gets everybody else in the door to programs like this and changes the narrative about the truth about substance use disorder and behavioral health and mental illness in the community, is that we can change. We do change. It does happen, and we should expect it. And forever grateful for this program and everybody here. And with that, I think I'll close. That's it. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to our treatment program manager, Tom Essex, for acknowledging graduates and alumni.
Joe, I know that Tom had to actually go get somebody out of custody. I'm not sure if he's back yet.
Okay, good call. Thank you. Let me give us one more reminder about media before I pass it on to Judge Garrett. At the end of this event, we will be taking a group photo for media and asking any speakers and attendees who are willing to be pictured to stay for the photo. At the end, media may want to talk to any of today's graduates and alumni who are interested in being interviewed. So alumni, please stay on the call if you are willing to be interviewed. And with that, I'll turn over for some closing remarks by our Kent Drug Court Judge, Judge Julia Garrett.
Thank you, Joe. The good news about going last is that I get to have the last word. The bad news is it's kind of emotional to listen to everybody's story and to just have the impact of really what drug court is all about. 2 years ago, exactly, our world changed. The whole universe changed with the pandemic. Drug court graduation was canceled for the first time in person. We had meeting after meeting after meeting. What are we going to do? How are we going to run this program? And I think naively, we all thought, well, maybe we'll be back up and running by September. This is kind of a glitch, but we're going to keep people involved and do what we can. And here we are 2 years later, still sort of struggling through the pandemic. Our team has done a phenomenal job of adapting, finding new avenues to support our participants. Joe Conniff runs daily sober support meetings that were instrumental with keeping our participants involved when all of the in-person sober support meetings were no longer available. And quite frankly, 2 years ago, we had no idea what was going to happen. Every time I attend a drug court graduation, the emotional stories are so moving. It is such a privilege to be part of this program. And it continues to remind me that everybody has a different path and a story that leads them to drug court. Quite frankly, drug addiction does not discriminate. Any family can be impacted. It can creep into anybody's life. In 2011, one of my nephews was arrested. I still remember the Saturday morning, my brother called and told me that his son was in custody, and he has 3 sons. And so when he told me which one, I said, "Are you sure that's the right one?" I mean, I expected another one if he was going to get arrested, but his youngest son was arrested and was thrown into turmoil. He entered into drug court. I had the privilege of introducing him at his graduation in 2013. And at his portion of when he spoke, he talked about how angry he was when he was arrested and how unfair he was. Quite frankly, my brother and sister-in-law were furious and terrified about what might happen. He was ejected from school at UW. Everything was thrown into turmoil. And then he started drug court. When it was his turn to speak at graduation, he said, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And 9 years later, he's phenomenal. He's doing great. And I've seen how the changes for drug court not only impacted him, but impacted in a trickle-down manner our entire family. Drug court changes lives quite effectively. It is wonderful to see 3 former drug court judges on the call, my former colleagues. I've had conversations with all of them that have said that this is the most humbling and meaningful assignment in my judicial career and in their judicial career, and I agree with that. It is, Joe's leaving, I'm leaving in a couple of months as well to retire. So it's sort of with a great deal of poignancy that I'm part of this drug court graduation, but I also intend on coming back after I leave. I did want to do a shout out for our partnership with Pierre Kent. Marjorie and Michael are rock stars, and they are so amazing. They come to drug court every Friday. They sit in the jury box. They give guys to anybody that needs to have some support. I think Marjorie actually rode with one of our participants that had a hard time entering into and staying an inpatient. So she got in the cab and went with her and made sure she made it in the front door. It's that kind of thoughtful attention that makes me love this program so much. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to Joe. And once again, I'm just so grateful to all of you that work so hard to do what you can to try and change people's lives. Thank you.